You wanna know something funny? This may be the only game in my eternal backlog that I bought by accident. I saw the title of the game during a sale in the early years of the Epic Game Store. It was a mere $3 and I thought to myself, why not? So I bought it and it turned out it was not the base game but the DLC, and because I didn't want to refund so little money, I threw the other $9 for the base game and basically got it. Despite enjoying my first hour playing it, I dropped it and never touched again, until today that is, when I finally finished it. Journey to the Savage Planet is a first-person Metroid-like. A descriptor I don't think I would have used until someone pointed out to me the gameplay is not all that different from, say, Metroid Prime. Even if I fully play the Metroid franchise proper, I am familiar with the design style of the Metroidvania genre, and yeah, this one does have the full Metroid feel. But before we get further into details, let's go ahead and cover the basics. In this game, we play as an explorer who has been tasked to find a new planet to colonize since Earth has become so polluted that even flesh-mental acid has become commonplace. Your main task over the course of the game is to explore and survey the planet and make sure it is colonizable, but in the middle of your exploration you come across a massive tower, one that apparently was never registered when the planet was first found, so it is also your task to enter it and figure out if there's any intelligent life in it. Or you can just refuel and leave. The fun part about this game is that it is a bite-sized AA game, and what cements its inspiration on Metroid is the fact that once you enter the first major area, you are free to explore and do as you please, provided you have the tools, of course. Exploration has to be fun in games like this, and I am happy to say this one excels at it, because it doesn't matter if you follow the story right away or decide to explore first, you are always making progress. There is a sense of improvisation and wonder as you make your way through the floating environments in this fragmented planet. I'm gonna give you an example. Early on the first major area of the game, my exploration left me to the edge of the map. In there I found a cave. Exploring it for a bit led me to materials, new variants of the local fauna, and a chamber with a mini puzzle on it. And my reward for spending time there solving it was a special upgrade material. It was fun, it was memorable, and I would have missed it entirely if I had decided to only follow the main path. One other aspect that makes me love this genre so much is how even if you don't have the upgrades to get over certain obstacles, the game won't stop you if you decide to improvise. There are many places across all three main areas of this game where you won't be able to reach certain platforms unless you have a portable bouncing pad or a triple jump upgrade. Usually you just advance through the story and return later, or you could do what I did and actually spend some time experimenting with what I already had in mind, or even using the world itself in my favor. The biggest feature for a Metroid-like or even a Metroidvania is how interconnected everything is. In Savage Planet, you can see places you went or are going to visit from a distance. So what better way for me to get to a place I couldn't reach without a jump upgrade than climbing to the next area? Realize the platform I couldn't reach is right below me from a height big enough that my fall could leave a crater, so I take the leap of faith, break the momentum of my impending doom with a double jump, land on an extra level I hadn't seen between my goal and feel silly about it, but then finally make another jump and finally reach my goal. And I do end up reaching it, and it does start giving me ideas of using the portable bouncing pad among other tools and my momentum to move into the coveted secret cave that teased me from the moment I first saw it. It doesn't work, of course, but the game still let me improvise and experiment, and for a game that likes to put everything we do as a science experiment, it feels quite well with the experience. The best part is I don't feel discouraged if my improvisation fails. In some places my experiments can actually reward me handsomely. I can get a triple jump, find platforms with a clearly marked jetpack icon meaning I need another upgrade to reach that height, or I can stand on the sign itself, jump just a little bit away from it, and use the triple jump to reach the platform, essentially breaking sequence and showing that experimenting and improvising in this game does yield results. The exploration is not limited to just searching the ground areas for secrets and upgrades. I can also ignore the main mission and start using the platforms around the world to lift myself up and see what goodies lie ahead. feel like I am bouncing among the clouds, with the only catch that I will splat on the ground if I fall off or misjudge a jump. Since we are already talking about jumping and climbing, I guess it's worth pointing out, this game surprised me. Most Metroid-likes tend to take place inside. The minute the tower is shown to us in the game, my first assumption was that I will get inside the tower right away and investigate it. It turns out I was wrong. The core of the main quest is in fact climbing the tower from the outside so I can find a way to unlock the main entrance below, and then descend deeper once I'm finally in. So that means the further we climb the tower from the outside, the more vertical things get, and the more fast-paced and dangerous moving around is. It helps a lot there is a healthy amount of variety in the environments. Every area feels memorable, and the ambience is just great. Very fitting of this art style. But exploration always comes with its own hazards. Combat is not the main priority in this game, but that means the few battles you get here and there are against the local fauna can have that much more meaning when you finally get to use your only weapon in the entire game. Your pistol is as simple as it gets. It can get upgraded, it has infinite ammo, and it will keep you alive in most dangerous situations. The enemy variety in this game is humbly small, but is no less effective. One wrong move and you will have predators and little round birds alike wanting to end you. Jellyfishes will make target practice on you, and then there is the bosses. I'm noticing it's becoming a theme for me to see in both indies and middle market games to carry bosses in the sets of 3. There's only 3 major boss fights in this game, and all 3 ended up being very memorable. And that's because they actually put what you learn from the gameplay systems to the test. The most memorable for me being the second boss, the Split Queen. Like the other 2, a stationary boss, but with the most vertical arena of the 3. Healing items below, hoop platforms above, a barrage of projectiles from its children, and all your own skill and reflexes at your disposal to get rid of this pest and not die yourself. Almost felt like I was playing a boomer shooter. I said it is possible to ignore most of the main story and have a bit of fun exploring first, but eventually you do want to advance it. Because doing so brings you those much needed upgrade materials, and you return to previous areas to grab your collectibles. I know years of use of games have taught many to hate these with a passion, and I know some who hated them even further back to the 3D GTA games. I don't hate them personally. A well-implemented set of collectibles encourages you to explore, the journey of getting to them being the core of the fun, even if they don't serve much outside of completionism. In this game, every collectible upgrades something within you. Better tools, better health, better stamina, you are always making progress. Makes exploring all the more fun. It also makes you feel satisfied if you feel like you had enough and wish to move on with the story if you don't plan to 100% complete the game. Which is great, because sadly even a smaller game like this also comes with some lows. I would have settled for just doing the collectibles, but the game still put a progression system for you in the form of science experiments. I was okay with them at first, but then it turns out they are tied to your upgrades. If you want to get better tools beyond what the game gives you by default, you have to complete a checklist. The problem is the more you advance, the more arbitrary the requirements get, and the more tedious it feels to have to comb the map to find a specific creature to take a sample from or the right enemy to kill in a specific way. I eventually gave up on those, because they got in the way of fun exploration. I can always improvise after all, and I'd rather spend my time on that than fishing a more arbitrary checklist. And that's because while the combat is nice and can be a huge highlight in your journey, some enemies are just obnoxious to deal with. Especially when you can run out of the seeds that can help you weaken them, or they can just break, deny you your reward, and straight up kill you. So I'm glad combat is not the most important aspect in this game. That leaves me room to enjoy the other stuff, like how much this game revels in its dark humor.
These things. Feed another one.
I have lived in an age where most adult humor is either recycling death memes or swearing up a storm while baiting you in blood, gore, and sex jokes. Savage Planet instead opts for sarcastic dark humor. You are working for the 4th best corporation on Earth. Every time you return to your ship, you are greeted with a hilariously outrageous ad that gives you a glimpse into just how dystopian the situation has become.
Engage in fascinating examination of standard Earth activity, or declare a Black Friday and send your shoppers into a violent bargain-hunting frenzy where only the strong survive.
Your companion AI cheerfully reminds you of your duty, your situation, and the very nasty implications of what happens when you die, teleport, or gain a health upgrade.
Hey, buddy. So, you died, and I made a clone of you that shares your memories. Listen, just don't overthink this. Our bioprinting is accurate to 99.1%. So, as long as you don't die 49 more times, it's all good. Looks like some sort of transport device. If you turn it back on, we can kill you here and make a clone of you at another one you've activated. Or, sorry, I'm supposed to say teleport. Before you jump in, Kindred says I need to read you a 400-page waiver absolving him of all responsibility. I speed read it.
And then there's the CEO himself, outright stating that yours is a suicide mission. You're not actually a scientist and you are not a trained professional. You're essentially a tourist among many others they send to do free labor. They are sending anyone to explore space, even a dog. Literally, you can pick a dog when choosing who you're playing as, and your character will make dog sounds accordingly. It's dumb and I love it. All in all, Journey to the Savage Planet is a fun little game. It has the right size and the right pacing. Other than the rank 3 experiments, I did not have a dull moment, and I fell in love with the idea of a fragmented planet made of floating islands, with the game having you soar through the air as you go from one to another. I think the best part was the ridiculous amount of depth to the levels. There are secrets and little side quests I did not get to discover, but I did notice they were there. So who knows? Maybe I could come back to it in the future to 100% complete it. I keep finding it funny how a lot of the games I've been playing lately in my backlog continue to validate something I say often, and I will mention here because it is worth repeating. If your favorite studios won't give you the type of games you want, or your favorite IPs are locked away, either dead or exclusive to a platform you don't have, there's always going to be another studio willing to give you what you want. So no matter what happens, you can always take a look around and find some sweet, greener pastures.